Gang, what's good with y'all, man? Today's video, we're going to talk about how to acquire good taste. Now, huge shout out to Fashion Lover 4. He made a video on this topic, and it really opened up the conversation and had my gears going to give a deep dive in my own perspective on the topic. So if you'd like to check out his video, I will link it down in the description as well, but we're going to hop right into it. So for starters, I wanted to change the question from how to get good taste to how taste is acquired in general. And the reason I say this is because everybody has taste. Now, whether it's good or not kind of is up to whoever is looking at you or observing whatever you're putting out, but all taste really is a bunch of references. It's really just a makeup of your own personal viewpoint of the world, which is why you see people from different cities often dressing different and having a different sense of taste. You can also kind of easily make assumptions about people from their personal style because their personal style should really reflect what their taste is. And I'll give you an example, right? If you wear a soccer jersey, parachute pants, and Adidas Sambas, it's probably safe to assume that you spend a lot of time on TikTok, are between the ages of like 17 and 24, and probably just recently got into wearing jorts. Or I'll give you another one. Let's say you're an edgy rap fan who enjoys hip hop but is like open-minded to the idea of like rock music. You probably wear all black and listen to Playboi Carti. You see where I'm going with this? Like, you can kind of judge people's interests based off their style, which kind of tells you where their melting pot of references come from. Or you can have like a lack of and be interested in what everybody else is interested in because you have no self-expression, which I guess technically is self-expression, but y'all know what I'm trying to get at. I think the point is whatever is in your circle of consumption, whether it's the city you grew up in, your favorite music artists, or your hobbies, are really gonna suggest what you're into. So now I think it's kind of safe for us to move into the conversation of what good taste is or the lack of. And I think it really just comes to how authentic you are to yourself or how much of an expert you are in whatever references you're pulling into your personal style. So you're probably thinking like, what is an expert into whatever references you're pulling? And I'll give you an example, right? So when we first get into fashion, you kind of start off with this beginner stage of style, and it really looks that way to a lot of people who are more so experts, I guess, or just farther along their journey than you are. So think about when you first started getting into fashion and how you dressed. I'm sure it looks completely different than how you dress now if you are no longer in that beginning stage, or you just kind of evolved into whatever you were consuming and now your taste is a lot different. So to kind of break this down, right? Imagine you're just getting into fashion and everything you're consuming on the internet is fairly similar, and then you come across a pair of Rick Owens Ramones. Now, to somebody who's kind of more in depth with Rick Owens, Ramones are kind of like the beginner stage, right? So you might see a pair of Ramones, you might get a pair of Ramones, and then it makes you look farther into Rick Owens. So instead of wearing Ramones with like streetwear, you're now seeing people pair Ramones with other Rick Owens garments. So now you've done a deep dive on Rick Owens, and now you figure out that they make insane jackets or denim. So now you might have these banana pants, and now you're like in this intermediate stage. So you graduate from that, and then you figure out that Rick Owens makes a bunch of insane type of boots. So you might get you a pair of tractors or steel baskets or something like that, right? Now you've kind of like set yourself apart from that average Rick Owens fan. You start to develop, and now you seeing people got like the archive dunks and stuff like that. So now you go from that beginner stage into a more in-depth stage of whatever your reference is. This goes for all different types of topics, and honestly, we are all continuously evolving, which is why you never feel like you're at a standstill or satisfied with your style. I think if you're open-minded and like to try new things, you consistently get into this weird stage to where it feels like you're almost finding your style again. And it might not be your entire style or aesthetic, but you might have recently got into something new, and now you're in the beginning stages of whatever that new topic is. It keeps repeating itself, and I don't think you ever get to a point to where you just have all of these different references and you're just knee deep in all of them. So as you can see, having good taste and good style is a very lengthy process, and I think it comes natural to some of us more than others, so it becomes a process that we just enjoy and take it all in head on. But I think for others it is quite stressful, and that's why they do things like hiring stylists and stuff like that, because stylists will allow you to cut that learning curve in half or not have to do the learning curve at all, and now you got the taste of a stylist without doing the work, which is what most of these rappers and entertainers do because they have an actual talent and need to pair it with style, but it takes too long to like develop that themselves unless they're just into it naturally. But I wanted to give you guys some expert tips on just how to broaden your consumption, because we're only as good as what we know. So if you don't know something, you might not even be able to do a deep dive and evolve in that topic. So here are some ways to increase and broaden your taste. First of all, find the inspiration of your favorite figures, designers, or the references of your favorite items. So a lot of times you can go down a rabbit hole of just seeing who the person you look up to gets their inspiration from. So you might want to look at the brands that these people wear and then do a deep dive on those brands, because most people have like a favorite brands list that they often run to. It kind of creates their melting pot of aesthetic. And then once you find those brands, you look at the designers and see what else they make, because your favorite person might not have ran across that piece, or they don't like that piece and you like that piece, and now you can adapt it to your style. And to go one more step further, that favorite piece from your designer is probably inspired by another piece. So you can do one more deep dive into seeing where they got that piece reference from, and it might even take it a step further for you. Next way I want to get into is finding a fashion community. Now this can be in person or on the internet depending on where you are, but I think finding a fashion community and finding friends within the same space, you'll be able to see what they're into and they can tell you what they're into, and y'all can kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Just kind of broaden your knowledge and kind of pull inspiration from other things that aren't just in the bubble that you've been living in. I think the internet is where most of us have gotten this from, and also it allows you to maybe follow and interact with people you wouldn't be able to interact with in real life. Interactions don't have to be conversations. Like, you might just follow somebody and their taste shows with whatever Instagram fit pics they're posting, and now you're able to like adapt and spread this web even farther. That's pretty much most of the conversation that I wanted to have with y'all. I think it's very interesting when we talk about style and evolution, especially because it's one of those things that never end. But if you like topics like this, make sure you go down, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new. Also follow the boy on Instagram if you would like to see my own personal style evolution. I feel like it's weird if you take people's tips and don't see what they have going on, because like somebody can give you a tip and their style can be horrible, and like, why are you listening to that person? So to validate and back up everything that I'm saying, go check out my Instagram. I do have new products on my shop page as well. So the keychains are out, the hat is about to be out, and other than that, appreciate y'all for watching. I'll be back to you with more. Peace.